this topic. I think the planners of this conference, especially the NACON, with the topic, seems to have concluded that government involvement in Hajj is compulsory and is further with the name imperative of government involvement in Hajj, past, present, and future. I agree to some extent that where a large number of people are moving from a country to another country, surely there is imperative that government must be involved. And because of welfare of the citizens, because of diplomatic and secular, that is councilor issues, we cannot do it without government involvement. And also there is already an act of parliament which established NACON. We have to look at positive aspects of government involvement, which cannot be overemphasized, that the government must be involved. Then the negative aspect, those who have been calling for government should not be involved in the Hajj matter at all. I think there are those who claim that Nigeria is a secular state or a secular country, which is not. Because Nigeria is never a secular country and is not yet, and I think cannot be. As far as we are here, the Muslim Ummah, with our large number, we are in this country. Nigeria can never be an atheist state, which will eventually be a secular state. And I'm sure that now, those who are calling for this, they have been satisfied. They have been given their own, and they are now turned around even to object that government should not remove their hand again because they are now beneficiaries. I think we are clear with that. Then there are other people who are genuinely clamoring for government, that government should remove its hand. Why? My own observation is some scandals and maladministration and corruption within the system. And what I mean here, I don't mean NACON. And if we are talking of Hajj, I was a member, a geopolitical zonal representative in Hajj for about 8 years, and 1 year as presidential committee member. And at that time, there was always this question, who owned the pilgrims? And sometimes misunderstanding between NACON and state, who owns the pilgrims. States will always claim they own the pilgrim. But outside the country, we know who owns the pilgrim when we leave this nation is NACON. So this has made it, and state is the first that recruits pilgrim. How is state pilgrim boards are organized? I used to serve in Medina, and I remember in one of the meetings, the Saudi authority tried to say that, yes, NACON is organized, but the state needs to do a lot. And that even brought when NACON took over the Medina accommodation, and that brought a lot of improvement. So I'm saying that states, and in NACON also there was this issue of compliance. So if we want government to continue, there is need for states, what NACON we believe that there is need to register the state and license states, because many state pilgrim boards, especially those areas that their authority there are not Muslims and they don't know much of Hajj, and they are involved, the appointment, the administration is nothing to write about. So the NACON should now move to second line. We say we have finished the transition period, which I think lasted for about 4 or 5 years. So those who say that NACON should start the really work, my slogan, which my colleagues know that time, I used to say that La Hajj and Umrah biduni imani mabrur. That brings us to Hajj awareness program. Is Hajj awareness program, can it just be achieved when you are now going to Hajj? Or it should be all year round? Somebody who is going to Hajj and he does not even understand the proper meaning of La ilaha illallah, can he have Hajj mabrur by just performing tawaf and so on? He should know what is Islam before he can now end. That's the thing I noted is the issue of propagation. Dr. Bugaji told us in one of our meetings, I think in a retreat, that Hajj can constitute just about 80% of the performance of Hajj. What of other segments of Dawah? Irshad. These are where ulama are needed. If those managing Hajj don't even know what Islam in some areas, how can they really convey the message of Hajj? Because of time factors, I believe that government must remain, but they are also not only giving it to private people to organize, but both the private people and the government area. You should make sure you lay down guidelines of appointing people. It is only in Hajj. Other organizations like many government parastatals, you cannot belong there until it's satisfied that you have the prerequisite to be members of such structure. So we need to take Hajj very serious so that Hajj can now be a very good body. And for money generation, I advocated with some local amendment, the structure of Tabung Hajj is a government board, but they're also self-sustaining, and they have a lot of money which they can use for developmental purposes. And under Hajj, we can even establish what my professor said, Hajj, establish universities and so on. Finally, I know, due to this concern, the last political reform, we're trying to recommend that we should go back, the government should hands off the Hajj. I don't know what they mean, but I know the Supreme Council also has a committee, which is NACON is a party to that, has named that there, that is looking towards how Hajj can be, we can reduce government involvement in Hajj and make Hajj viable. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.